Good evening all and welcome to Wednesday's Cheese Room podcast. Finally, we have a game to talk about and I cannot contain my excitement because what an absolute thriller it was, including 9 goals in a pre-season friendly, the first one of the season. And if it's anything to go by, I think we're in for a pretty entertaining season coming up. Once again, joining me, I have a great panel to talk all things Spurs about. It's our resident student, the man of the stats, James. How are you tonight?
I'm tremendous. I got a pay rise today in my job, so that's nice. Feels good on the scotch again. Nice to see the Spurs result, even if it's a pre-season. Feeling good. Thanks for having me on as ever.
I mean, was it the jacket that got you the pay rise, firstly?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, must be. Must just be the jacket. I mean, good look. Good looks is 90% of life, isn't it? So.
And secondly, what kind of scotch are you drinking?
Johnny Walker's.
Are we going to experience another Wednesday like last week?
Well, I've only got half a bottle left, so probably not, because I drank nearly a bottle Wednesday night. So. We might see half of wet last Wednesday night. But do you know what? Wait an hour and we'll find out.
And John of the Cheese Room says, congratulations, number one son. Always nice.
It was all the hard work I put in. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm also delighted to welcome back our second show together. It's come around so quickly. Gibbo, how was life?
Yeah, great. Cheers. Thanks for having me back on the Wednesday club. And great to be actually talking about a football match for a change. I feel like I've spent every time I've been on here talking about Jed Spence. So hopefully we won't have to talk about Jed Spence tonight. We can just talk about the football. So, yeah, looking forward to getting into it as always. Thanks for having me back on. Let's get into it.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty much like obligatory that we talk about Jed Spence at this point.
Yeah, but we'll try to avoid it, won't we, surely?
We can do our best. And finally, East Midlands Spurs' very own Peter Andre. It's Craig on his Cheese Room debut. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm great. And it's to be technically correct, it's fat Peter Andre. It's I haven't got the 6-pack of Peter. I'm doing great, thanks. It's been a busy day at work mixed with a sneaky hour and a half of football in between. But it's been great. It's really been an exciting match today. I'm buzzing to talk about it and it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
It's a pleasure to have you. Obviously, we shared that really, really painful car ride back from Borough together, which was an experience.
Yeah.
Longing for the days where we were actually good. And then it got better after that. So here we are.
It felt like Borough was a real low point of the season, wasn't it? I think the performance was dire. The journey up was particularly bad. And your driving, Shan, well, that was horrendous.
I'll have you know, my driving was very good, thank you. It was you that got us lost on the way back trying to find food. So. And last but certainly not least, hello to everyone in the comments. Please do get involved. Put everything in that you want to talk about, and I'm sure we'll get to as many of you as we possibly can. So the usual housekeeping bits. Sign in, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. It really, really does help us get the views up and grow the channel to give you great content every week, almost every day of the week, it seems at the moment. So thank you for your support and please keep supporting as ever. So firstly, I feel like we need to talk about that brutal training session that we all saw on Monday. I'm not sure how many of you actually have watched it. I sort of skipped the first 2 hours and just watched the 42 laps of the pitch. And I would have died by getting to the halfway point on the first run. Like, Gibbo, how fit have they got to be to even get a few of those done, let alone 42?
Well, they've got to be fit, haven't they? I mean, they're they should be pretty fit guys anyway. But I mean, that looked grueling. But I'm not sure what they get from it, more just to get like miles in their legs or whatever, because they were just literally beasted, weren't they? Running from end to end after a training session. But they obviously see some merit in it. And but you shouldn't say you enjoy it, but it's quite funny, isn't it, to see them sort of like falling. It reminded me of like when I used to play football and we had a guy who sort of used to make us do shuttles, and he was like 6-yard box back, 18-yard back, halfway back, then the other 18-yard box, and you had people there throwing up and stuff. And it reminded me of like just a good old-fashioned sort of like grassroots team training session where they would just literally can get up and down there and let's see what you got in you. So run till you throw up. That'll get you fit. But yeah, it was fun to see. I don't know how much good it would have done them, but yeah, it was interesting to see.
I suppose it builds their stamina, doesn't it? In this area.
Yes.
I mean, how humid it is out there as well. Like 80% humidity.
There must be some merit in it. Obviously, they know a lot more than me, so there obviously is. But very sort of like basic, just running them into the ground, wasn't it?
I mean, it was hilarious to watch, weren't it, Craig?
Yeah.
It made me feel good watching it, thinking,
I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And a bit like Giver, I'm not sure what it achieves. I think Son in his press alluded to the fact they've got so many kilometres they've got to hit in every single training session. So I think it was much about getting those kilometres into their legs than anything. But do you know what it was for me? It's great to see a squad of players who are willing to run that hard and that intense and to go through the brick walls that they're being asked to go through Conte, and to be so willing to do it. And I just think, you don't have to go back that far to a squad of players that, quite frankly, didn't show us anything. So to see Kane throwing up on the side of the pitch, to see Son exhausted, falling over, I was loving it. I was loving it in a perverse way, because they're showing something, aren't they? There's a real intent this year around the Spurs squad, the players, around what they want to achieve, and to see them doing 42 laps, whatever it was joyous for me. I loved it.
I mean, James, I'm assuming that you very much enjoyed watching them just in complete pain for half an hour.
Oh, indeedably. I mean, it's probably the first serious pre-season of hard work they've had since like Pochettino, right? I mean, I can't imagine pre-season under Nuno was particularly strenuous, nor under Jose Mourinho. Oh, okay. It's funny. I had a conversation with this with my boss today at work, who's also a Spurs fan, by the way. And you should think that all of the top 5-ish teams should be relatively physically fit, right? But this is obviously just Conte imposing a strict regimen of fitness on the players. I remember reading some years ago when he was Chelsea boss, that a lot of the players were shocked that the only thing he would allow them to eat, in the couple hours before a game was like nuts, right? Nuts and light stuff like fruit. Okay. And I think it just speaks testament to that kind of approach to fitness, that yes, we are going to run until you fall down. If anyone has ever gone from not running to running, like I have, like if you really push yourself the first time, you might be sick or you might fall over. But after that, it becomes a hell of a lot bloody easier. So like, it's good, because if they keep doing that, they're obviously buying into him, right, and his system. And yeah, they need to be physically fit if they're going to keep up with, Klopp, Spoys, and, the other top teams in the world, which is basically just, the UK teams. So it's good. I enjoyed it. It's nice to see a manager finally, since Pochettino, imposing a strict physical fitness regime on them, and not just being like, well, go for a jog round the pitch and then I'll come have a bacon butty. Like, nah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's obviously going to be a big part of our game, isn't it? That fitness. We want to be chasing players down, want to be harrying for the whole 90 minutes, pressing. And it's all leading up to that, isn't it? That's what it's about. And,
definitely. It's the last 10 minutes of games, isn't it? Where under Jose, we'd see us fall apart. Because we just didn't have the fitness.
And they're like slogging their guts out, and some of them lay on the floor, and you see like Kane go up to Son, and they try and help each other up. It's I know it sounds silly, but it you see them giving that, and you think, yeah, they're not actually giving it for us; they're doing it for themselves. But you sort of think, oh, look at them putting it in. That's what we want to see, and it sort of just makes you feel good, doesn't it? Thinking they're really going for it. There's a real desire there. Conte's getting them fit, and they're all buying into it, and it just helps. Like under what we sort of had under Pochettino. I don't want to go on about it, but it feels like we're bringing that type of mentality back, but hopefully at another level. Yeah.
On that note, I just want to say hello to a few people in the comments. We've got our channel member Kerry. Evening, great start to pre-season. We've got Mark. Evening, cheese followers. R2D2 has joined us from outer space. We've got John in the comments. We've got Matthew Merck, who thought you were drinking water, James.
I'm not drinking water. I'm doing the Christopher Hitchens. I mix Johnny Walker's with sparkling water. It makes it go further. Otherwise, I'd be done in about 2 or 3 drinks, wouldn't I?
This is true.
It's good, and it means you have no hangover. So
we've got the caller in the comments with his broken foot, and we've got our resident Evertonian, who I'm sure can offer some insight when we talk about Richarlison throughout the show, because he's impressed me today, but we'll come on to that. And Kathy. Hello, Kathy.
Hotspurious.
There we go. Hey there from Washington, D.C. So reaching far and wide. Far and wide. Okay, right. On to the fun stuff. Our first starting lineup of the season. And it was James Austin, Emerson Royal, Christian Romero, Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, Ryan Sessegnon, Rodrigo Bentancur, Oliver Skip back for the first time since January, Lucas Moura, Ryan Hill back from that loan in Valencia, and our new boy, Richarlison. What did you make of this starting lineup, Craig?
It is what it was. I don't think anyone could have effectively predicted what that starting lineup was going to be. It could have been a mix of any of them, and I was happy with it. I was really pleased actually to see Gil get a chance in the starting lineup. I've got a soft spot for Gil actually, and I really hope he comes on and proves himself. I don't think it'll be this season, but I liked it. But yeah, it was good. I was pleased to see Romero starting lineup. Particularly happy with Skip, like you say, being out since January. It's good to see him back on the ball. So yeah, good starting lineup.
Gibbo?
Yeah, same as Craig, really. Nice to see Richarlison get a game, get a start, isn't it? Get him out there early. Nice to see Skip back, but relatively strong team, really. And I think when you look at who's on the bench and the players who sort of weren't involved, shows that squad's getting stronger, doesn't it? Shows that we've got some getting a bit more depth in there than we had before. So yeah. Really good starting lineup, and nice to see a couple of new faces on there as well.
James, would you be happy if you saw that starting lineup in the league this season?
In the league, no. Austin in goal, probably not. But no, for the most part, the rest of it, yes. At some point, I wouldn't have a complete issue with it. Obviously, not against Liverpool or Man City, right? Yeah. But if we were hypothetically had a big Champions League game, 2 or 3 days afterwards, and we're playing a bottom half team like Fulham, realistically, do I have a big issue with that? No. I mean, you look at Richarlison; he's prolific. He's going to score goals. Lucas may not necessarily be the best player, but he does do a lot of dribbles a game. It's over 10. Brian, it's good to see him getting minutes. This lineup predominantly shows us actually 2 things, right? I should just say. A, an intent of how Conte wants to play. B, he's giving a look into players like Brian, and he's trying to get players like Skip back. So it's good to see. It's not bad though, is it? You look at Richarlison and you think, okay, well, we have a genuine goal scorer. You look at our midfield, you look at Bentancur and Skip, that's a solid midfield, right? That's a good midfield. Defensively, not weak either. Sessegnon, Romero, Dyer, Sanchez, that's solid. Royal in there as well. It would be nice to have someone aside from Lucas in the team, but it's really not that weak, is it? To have Lucas, Brian, and Richarlison, that's a good front line. If we didn't have someone like Richarlison, who would it be? Like Lucas up front? I don't know, man. Like it's a solid backup starting 11 if you replace Austin with Foster, right? Then that is a team that I think, you know what, they can go to Morecambe and win and not be drawing or behind at half time, and have to bring on Harry Kane. So, and that's really what it's all about,
Okay, so we're going to start on the game. I'm going to remove this for a sec. So, on 10 minutes, Emerson missed an absolute, I don't know how he missed it, but he missed it after some lovely work from Richarlison to get into a really good position. He literally just had to put it inside the post, and it was inches wide. But I'm begging for Emerson to just score. But, I mean, what did you guys make of that chance? Do you think it was as dead cert it should have been a goal as I did? Because I saw afterwards, I was like, that should have been in.
Yeah, that he should have buried that, shouldn't he? But, I mean, like you say, a lovely bit of skill from Richarlison. I think he sort of miscontrolled it, didn't he? As it went to Emerson. Maybe he was a little bit surprised it comes to him, but there's no excuse really. That you got to be putting them away, haven't you? I mean, he's only got to literally kick that straight in front of him, hasn't he? He didn't have to really do anything special. So yeah, you got to be scoring them, but at the end of the day, friendly, isn't it? So got away with it.
And then
I don't think I was particularly surprised. I wasn't particularly surprised. I don't think anyone was particularly surprised that he missed it. Anyone else on the pitch, I think it may have been a goal, should have been a goal. But yeah, it's Royale, isn't it? What we come to expect of him.
Did you see that? Have you seen that? Is it what I don't know what they call them on Twitter? Them little videos, and they sort of showed it from the back, and you saw Romero as if going, "Fuck's sake!"
Romero, disgust.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah,
but that's what Romero thinks of Royale, isn't it?
I mean, Romero probably thinks that of most people, to be fair. And then, a couple of minutes later, we had Sanchez marauding up the pitch with a lovely volley, which forced the save from the keeper, which I was not expecting to see. James, did you see it?
Yeah, so I didn't see the game itself. I've seen the highlights. So if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, yes, I have seen that. I apologize for not watching the game. I was at work, unfortunately. The highlights I saw were fairly limited. It was mostly just the goals, right? So I feel like other people are better placed to comment on this than me because I didn't really see it, if I'm honest.
Sanchez saved volley, Gibbo.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a good finish from him, wasn't it?
It was a good effort on goal. Yeah, he controlled it well and he got his shot away. Do you expect him to score goals like that? Probably not really, but he caught it well, and it is what it is, isn't it? He found himself in the box and he had a decent effort on goal. That's it, really.
Definitely want to be seeing that more from our
exactly.
Conte encourages them to get forward and get up the pitch.
Definitely a few more goals from a few different areas next season is definitely needed, isn't it? So take a bit of pressure off Kane and Son, even though we still want them scoring the same number of goals they are scoring at the minute. But yeah, if we can get our centre-backs in those sort of positions, happy days. Talking
of centre-backs, Eric Dyer on 30 minutes. What an absolute piece of a goal. Left-footed shot into the top right-hand corner after a lovely 1-2 with Brian Hill. Harry Kane, no other than Harry Kane on Instagram, rated the goal 8.9. I mean, that says it all as how good that goal was, don't it, Craig? What a goal.
Oh, yeah, it was a great goal, great finish. And do you know what? We all know that Dyer is capable of doing that. You see he can finish a ball. And it's good to see. I think it builds on from the Sanchez volley. We've talked about how Conte encourages our defenders to get forward, centre-halves to get forward and to have these shots at goal when they can. And I think it's evidence of what we're going to see more of in the season. So, yeah, fantastic strike. I thought it I wouldn't rate it as high as Kane did, if I'm being honest. I thought it was a good strike, but I thought the keeper was particularly bad. I thought the keeper could have maybe done better. Maybe I'm being unfair, but it was a good strike.
It was a bit of a left foot swinger, wasn't it? He caught it well.
Yeah.
And went over the keeper. Yeah, not great goalkeeping, but he caught it well.
Well, you can only beat the goalkeeper that's in front of you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bottom line. I mean, we know Dyer can take brilliant free kicks. We saw him do it for, if I'm recalling correctly, England in the 2016 Euros, right? He scored that goal. Why isn't this guy on free kicks instead of Harry Kane? Has Harry Kane ever had a free kick? What, beyond target, for that matter? I mean,
we're gonna come on to that, James. We're gonna come on to Harry Kane.
I'm just saying. But yeah, it was a brilliant strike. I have seen that. Beautiful.
It was a very, very good goal. With his
shows confidence.
Well.
Exactly.
Shows confidence if he's taking it up the pitch and striking it with his wrong foot.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a few scotches before the game and he felt up for it, But he's almost got that mentality of someone who's had a few drinks without having a few drinks, which is perfect. That's the Antonio Conte effect.
We then had another quite shocking moment, and Emerson has clearly been working on his crossings. He delivered a few good crosses into the box today. Richarlison had a header. To be fair, it was straight at the keeper, but it was saved following a really good cross from Emerson. I personally noticed a massive improvement in Emerson going forward today, minus obviously the missed goal. I don't know what you made of Emerson's performance, Gibbo.
Thought he did all right. I don't think anybody was really bad and nobody was really, really good. They were all pretty steady when they. And I agree with you. I thought Emerson did all right. Not every cross hit its target, but his crosses seemed to be like if a little bit more accurate, didn't they? I'm not saying
better areas, more.
They were they were getting into the right areas, and they weren't sort of like being spooned behind the goal. And it was as if he was taking a little bit more care about where he was going to put the ball, sort of thinking about where he's going to put that cross, or maybe he's been instructed, look, when that ball comes in that area, I want you to put it here in this area, and that's what he was trying to do. So yeah, I thought that miss was shocking, but shit happens like that. I thought he had a decent game.
Yeah, I and Craig will have seen me defending Emerson's case in the East Midlands Spurs group chat where he was getting a little bit of flack. I don't know if he agreed with me or not, but we're going to find out. Craig, what did you think?
No, I absolutely thought he did well. I thought Emerson's done well at the end of last season as well. I thought, he did what he needed to do, didn't he? We know he's got his limitations. All players have got their limitations, and we accept those limitations. I think you're right. I agree with Gibbo and Shan that clearly he's been working on his crossing. We saw an improvement. I guess I will judge it more in 3 friendlies time to see if that continues in the other games and against perhaps better opposition. If that carries on. But yeah, no, I've got more time for Royale than perhaps I did halfway through last season. So he's won me over.
Definitely. And then shortly after that, well, just before the end of the first half, Team Kaylee got a goal back before the break. Great header, but could Sanchez have done more, James?
Yes. I feel like from what I've seen from the highlights, he probably could have. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's pre-season. I'd rather these issues happen. Now, I mean, Sanchez has always been a little bit unreliable in these areas. Mini brain farts, I guess you could say. It's not something I'm going to stress over. It's minute share. It's something Conte will pull up with him. It's just a case of reacting and positioning. I think that's really all it is,
It was a decent cross, wasn't it, James? And a decent header. Like you said, maybe Sanchez could have been a little bit nearer, but he sort of got in between Sanchez and Dyer, didn't he? But I thought decent cross, decent header.
I suppose he's got the guy in front of him, the guy who heads the ball, and he's got a guy behind.
Where's he gone? Where's he gone?
He must accidentally press the wrong button.
Oh, he's back. One.
Sorry. Nothing on my mouse because it's in my hand. Oh, I'm accident. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, he's got a guy in front of him. Sorry, everyone. He's got a guy in front of him. He's got the guy behind him. But the thing is, right? he has another centre back behind, like, when you look at it in this sense, he's got a guy behind him. So the guy behind him should be tracking the other forward run, right? He shouldn't have to worry about that guy. He should just worry about the guy he can see in front of him. Okay. So I don't know why he doesn't get closer and why he doesn't do a bit more. It kind of looks weird. I don't know. It almost looks like he's indecisive about what to do. I think it's Sessegnon who's tracking the other guy. I don't know the other guy's name. I know he has blonde hair though. Unfortunately, I don't watch a lot of Korean League football. I'm sorry. It seems like a preseason error because they're not really in sync. It's not a big issue. It's a bit of lack of decisiveness, positioning, reactions. That's all it is, I think, really. But yeah, he could have done more, and I would expect him to do more. But in preseason, something you expect, right? A little bit of that.
I mean, to be fair to Sanchez, I did say when I saw the starting lineup that Sanchez on the left is not going to work. And I think we all know that Sanchez can't play on the left because he can only use his right foot. And I think we can pretty much guarantee that he only played there because Longlay's in England and Davies weren't fit enough to play.
Yeah, I feel from a bit on that score because one thing that Sanchez isn't is comfortable on the ball, is he? He's not comfortable on the ball when he plays on the right-hand side of a three. So you put him on the left. Like Sanchez is an adequate squad centre-back. I think adequate, more than adequate. But he's not comfortable with the ball. So what you saw, well, you probably didn't see from Sanchez today is what you're expecting to see from Longley if he plays on the left of a back three, isn't it? That he will be comfortable with the ball there. So you put Sanchez in those positions and he tends to, then his confidence tends to go because he's not good on the ball and he doesn't feel confident or comfortable in that area. But, he did all right today, I thought, like that.
Yeah.
That goal, I agree with James, probably just a little bit of rustiness, a little bit of a brain fart, just not fully switched on. But it's early doors, isn't it? Pre-season, end of the half. But yeah, he's just not comfortable on the ball, is he? No matter where he plays in a back three, that's not his game.
And I think there were a few wayward passes as well, where he obviously was using his weaker foot, etc.
Yeah.
Like, what did you make of Sanchez's performance?
I thought he did all right today. To be fair, I mean, like you say, I think for me, I wasn't watching the game looking for big performances. I think if we got a performance, it was a bonus. I think looking at the week they've had and the training that they've had, I was never expecting it to be, every player at their best. But I've got to say, I thought Sanchez made some good tackles at key times throughout the game today. He did his trademark sliding in several times and come out with the ball. He's always, I think James and Gibber both said, liable to make prone to the odd mistake. I think the goal with the header going between two defenders, that's not a new thing. We saw that several times last season throughout. So it's something collectively as a defensive unit we've got to work on and improve, I think. But yeah, overall, I think, as Gibbo said, Sanchez is a really good, better than good squad player. We don't expect him to start the games when everyone's available, but when he's needed and he's called upon on that right-hand side, I've got every confidence in him.
And he's not going to play on the left unless we have an injury crisis. He probably isn't going to play on the left, is he?
No. I hope not.
I mean, I've still got PTSD from Mora, so I really, really, really hope not. But moving on from Sanchez, and we're going to look at the lineup for the second half. I mean, look at this fine specimen there, Eric Dyer. What a lovely man. And it saw Hugo returning to goal. Lucas went to right wing back, which I think HG's been wanting to see for the last year, pretty much. Tanganga back from injury. Eric Dyer stayed on for a while. Sanchez stayed on for a while. Doherty at left wing back. Højbjerg and Sarr came in for his debut. Richarlison stayed on, and on came Kane and Son. And Sonny came on a couple of minutes later, as we know, to receive his applause, which we'll talk about in a second. But I just want to talk about Kane's instant impact. Less than 90 seconds he was on the pitch and he forced an error from one of the K-League's defenders into the back of his net. But in fairness, I think if the defender didn't put it into the back of his net, Richarlison was there and it would have gone into the back of the net anyway. It was a great ball into the box from Kane. What do you think, Gibbo?
Bloke's class, isn't he? You know, I thought the team performed well in the first half. I thought in that front three, like Lucas and Hill were busy and looked good. But the minute you bring Son and Kane on, it's just a completely different story, isn't it? Just amazing. Like, I was thinking to myself earlier, and I was talking to my lad, and I said, really, I know this is slightly off topic, but it was good. I sort of thought about it after this friendly today. We're so lucky that sort of like we get to see Son and Kane play together for our club, because they're just brilliant, aren't they? Like that, like you said, that cross from Kane, the guy's put it in his own. He had to deal with that ball. Maybe he didn't deal with it very well, but he had to deal with it, because it would have. If that sounds stupid to say that, but it would have found Richarlison, and he'd have buried it. So either way, it's going in the goal. Just instant impact, and it's not always scoring goals. It's the passing and the assisting, and just a fantastic player, just a great player to have at our club. And like, what a difference a year makes, because this time last year wasn't even playing friendlies.
Well, this time last year he hadn't even turned up to training.
Exactly. You know, didn't really want to play for the club. So yeah, just what a great sub to have. Brilliant player, brilliant cross. What more? I don't know what you can just go on. The bloke's brilliant.
World class.
Yeah, unbelievably, I'm world class, phenomenal. I was really excited to see the Kane, Richarlison, and Son link up actually in that second half. I thought really excited to see what that was going to be about. But I think Gibbo, you said exactly what I wrote down. What a difference a year makes. I mean, I think that's what excites me most about today. Was when I was watching the match, it's Kane and Son picking up exactly where they left off at the end of last season, in terms of the form and the link-up play. And I think that's what excites me most is, we go back to the beginning of last season. We didn't see Kane. He was out of sorts for the first 3 months of the season. We're going into the beginning of this season with Son on fire, Kane on fire, Kulo, sexy Kulo, on form. We've got Richarlison coming in, making it even stronger. It's just such a great place to be. It's such an exciting time to be a Spurs fan, I think. And I think you can see with Kane, he's fully bought into this Conte project. He's well on board. He's fully into it. You saw it with the runs, leading by example in training. On the pitch, he's showing what he's all about. And what a great time. And I just hope and pray now that new contract gets delivered sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. James?
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, basically everything I'd say has been said. Say it in my own words. Delightful cross from Kane, would have been a goal, even if it hadn't been an own goal. I mean, maybe this guy should be actually when Kane retires, he should actually probably be a crossing coach. That's not a thing. But if there was such a thing as a crossing coach, Kane would be the master of it. I don't get how we can cross so well, but not take free kicks. I mean, it's beautiful. He's obviously really, really up for it. How can you not be up for it when Antonio Conte is the manager? He is one of the best managers in the world. Had he won a European trophy, you could even suggest maybe he was the best manager in the world, right? He came pretty close with Inter. He got to the Europa League final. He's one of the top managers in the world. You're playing in the best stadium in the world for a club you love. I mean, he's obviously happy to be here. The club's going in the correct direction. I mean, can you imagine being a top player like Harry Kane or Heung-min Son and hearing the words, "All right, lads, we got you a new manager. Who is it? Nuno Espirito Santo." Yeah, I mean, I'd be writing my resignation letter immediately, and I'd be on Indeed within about 2 seconds of hearing that.
We don't talk about Nuno. No.
He made us proud. He made us proud.
He did not.
Well, if you think about it, he did, because he got sacked, and then we got Conte, so he made us proud. Anyway, in all honesty, he's obviously happy to be here. I'm glad. I love Harry Kane. Shame he's English. I'm not Welsh, but he's he's the best striker in the world. Some people say, Lewandowski, but you play in the German league. I'd score goals in the German league if I played for Bayern Munich. Simple. He's best striker in the world. He's one of the best playmakers in the world. Like, not last season, but season 4, he had the most assists and the most goals. Like, this guy is like Ronaldo and Kevin De Bruyne rolled into one, and he's just a really humble guy. He's a humble guy. You don't hear about him going down the pub and having a fight or something. He's just a professional, and he's really, really good at football. He's underrated by opposition fans all the time because they're coping and seething because they can't cope with how good he is. It's brilliant. He's here, and you know what? One can say is he's going to play till his late 30s because he's not a quick guy. He never has been. He's not slow, but he's not a guy that relies on his speed. He keeps himself fit. I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is 40, and he's still playing in Italy, right? He could play for us till he's 36, 37. He keeps himself fit, and he's going to be here for a long time. If we keep doing what we're doing at the moment, which, we're going in the correct direction, he's going to stay here for a long time. So, love you, Kane. Stay at Spurs for a long time, and
definitely
believe in you.
I'm just going to pick this up. We will definitely be talking about the academy boys. We just want to get through this section of the game first, but I promise we will be talking about them. So after that goal, on comes Sonny to an amazing reception from the 64,000 strong crowd. I mean, the support for the boys today was just unbelievable, weren't it, Gibbo?
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it, for a friendly? I mean, it's great support, both, and there's a few, like I've seen on sort of like on Twitter and social media, there's a few Spurs people out there, isn't there? A few Spurs fans, but yeah, what a great turnout for a friendly, and obviously they were well rewarded as well for the turnout. It was a good game, wasn't it? It was a good friendly, it was a good competition. Like like you said, 9 goals, lots of chances, players sent off, open goals being missed. Goals from outside the area, penalties, free kicks. So yeah, it was a really good to see. Really good occasion.
I think it was a really good account of what Premier League football is all about, wasn't it, Craig?
Yeah.
I thought so. I can't remember any of our other tours, pre-season tours, where we've played in front of 63,000 people anywhere, and I think it's a big part of that is clearly Son. We know he's an idol in Korea, and they're coming to see him. But I also think, just to go off piece a little bit, it says something about the global brand that Tottenham have now, because you look at those scenes at the airport, it wasn't just about Son. It was about all of the players. There was, Kulo shirts, Bentancur shirts. There was Czech Republic shirts. It wasn't just about Sonny. And I think
there was a Norwich
Norwich, yeah, exactly in Korea. And I just think it goes to show the global brand that we have here at Spurs now, and the juggernaut that's being created at the moment with the new stadium and the players we've got. So yeah, 63,000. What a great for Son, great for the team. It was really good.
Absolutely, and then shortly after that, K-League then level again with a low drilled effort from outside the box after the player dropped off from the rest. He was smart. It was a smart move. Lloris couldn't get down quick enough, and I'm not too sure what that player's name was, but it was the blonde guy.
Yeah.
What did you make of that goal, James?
It's a well-struck shot, right? I mean, he's received the ball at kind of like the edge of the penalty area. Good shot. I do kind of feel like it's too easy, right? Like, why have we got so many defenders directly in the box? I get they're going up for a cross, right? But as soon as the ball gets away from a position where they're going to a cross, this is something I learned in Sunday League, right? Push up. You push up. You don't just stand in your penalty area. You push up. So I don't know why they haven't done that. I'm guessing that's just a pre-season fitness thing. They should have pushed up a bit, because it doesn't matter, because if, their players stay where they are, they're offside, so it doesn't matter. Maybe Lloris can do a bit better, but it's right in the bottom corner, right? So it doesn't really matter. So I don't want to criticize him too harshly, because it is a good strike. I just feel like the defensive line should have pushed up so that he wasn't in a position to get the shot off in the first place. But again, pre-season, don't want to really too much into it. Conte will look at that. It's just, I think, a mental thing and a fitness thing. They haven't had mega time off. It's hot in Korea. Get these mess ups now as opposed to when the bloody season starts. Because if this happens in a real game, that's when I'll start swearing. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's fine. But that's my criticism of that.
But it's all good, isn't it, Gibbo? Because it didn't stay level for long. Because Lucas runs up on the inside, sets up Kane for his own really well drilled low shot.
With his wrong foot.
With his left foot again, and it was from outside the box. An absolute peach of a shot.
Brilliant goal. Like we talked, the goal is brilliant. What I do want to say about it is obviously Lucas picked up that ball playing in a right wing back position, drove in field. I've never really wanted to jump on the Lucas playing right wing back train because I thought people are just trying to make, like obviously Conte had Moses playing right wing back for Chelsea, didn't he? And they're just trying to make a comparison by, Moses was sort of like a wide forward. That's what Lucas is, and will it work? I don't know. But I thought he looked all right there today. I thought he sort of he showed some of the things you want to see from a wing back, sort of driving forward or cutting in and giving it to like Kane or Son to create a chance or score. But yeah, like we spoke earlier, it's just that's what Kane does, isn't it? And it looked effortless, really. He just sort of took it, put it where he wanted to, hit it, wrong foot, power, precision, bottom corner. That's what we're used to.
Kane is absolute best, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, massively. We can't say any more than what we said. It was brilliant.
I mean, the guy is world class. But then, in the 67th minute, the most bizarre handball I think I've ever seen in a match from Team K-League. And H gave the pen to Sonny, obviously, with it being in the Saul Stadium. Obviously, Sonny put it away straight down the middle, 4-2. What did you make of H giving Sonny that pen? I never thought I'd see the day, James.
Yeah, neither. I mean, Kane is the penalty king. Has he ever missed a penalty? I don't recall seeing him miss a penalty.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
I do not recall him missing a penalty. When we get a penalty and I see Kane step on stake, I think, right, easy go, simple as. Yeah, I get it's a preseason game, right? It doesn't count towards his golden boot, if I'm being cynical. A part of it is I'm sure it's in his home country. I'm sure it means a lot more to Son to score that goal than it does for Kane to score that goal. In a way, it's probably nice for the Korean fans to see it. I know that sounds a bit weird to say, but they are massive fans of Son, right? I remember seeing an image on Twitter of a Korean broadcast of a Spurs game, and in the top corner next to the score, right, they had a counter for every touch Son took in the game. I'm not joking. Like, that's how much they love him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was nice for them. And bottom line,
this is a good stat, and I reckon he's followed up a few of those that he's missed. I think the game against Denmark he missed in the Euros, and then he scored it on the follow-up. I don't think he's actually missed many.
No.
He missed at Liverpool, didn't he? And then he got another one right at the end when Lamella was it Lamella who got wouted by Van Dijk in the back of the legs, and then he stepped back up and scored, didn't he? The last minute.
Yeah.
What year was that?
It's got to be 3 seasons ago.
I do not recall that. If I'm honest,
2-2. That's when Wanyama scored the Thunder Bastard.
Oh.
Wasn't that when we battered Liverpool at home?
No, it was at Anfield.
It was at Anfield, yeah.
Do you remember the Wanyama goal where it's bouncing out and he just strolls up to it and hits it at the outside of his boot and it flies in the top corner? Absolute belter. I do remember watching that game and thinking, we're losing 2-1. Why are you bringing on Wanyama? But he scored whatever. Yeah, there we go. He knows all. Yeah, it's good. A good bit of selflessness, yes. Maybe Kane will give Son free kicks now, so we don't have to all duck when we're behind the goal and he's taking them. Like,
I don't know. We're just about to talk about Kane and free kicks, so
I'll save it for then.
Me and Craig were saying before, though, wasn't a very good penalty, was it, by Son?
No.
Don't think it was very good. We think the keeper let it in, or else he would have been shot.
Yeah. I think the whole incident around the penalty and the handball in the first place The penalty wasn't the best penalty. The keeper seemed to go out of his way to get out of the way. I think that's as close to match fixing as you'll ever get.
Yeah, because I think Stevie Wonder could see that was handball, wouldn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
He was sort of like what? And then you saw the replay, and he's literally caught it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought he was in goal, I think. But it was short-lived joy because Sanchez then gave away a needless free kick on the 69 minutes, so a minute later, which was put in by Amano Jun. I did get that name. Bad wall by Sonny and Sarr. Like the worst wall I think I've ever seen. It was crap. And not very good keeping by Hugo either, which took us to 4-3. What did you make of it, James?
Not great
shit,
goalkeeping.
Mate. Just say it was shit.
Yeah, it was fucking shit. I was trying to refrain from swearing. For fuck's sake, Matt. You fucking idiot. I'm joking. Love you, Matt. I've just got us demonetized, unfortunately. So smash the like button to cover up for my swearing. Or follow our Patreon. Anyway, I'm just going to say it. It was fucking shit. That's it.
It was very bad, wasn't it, Craig? It wasn't friendly or not. You don't want to be seeing a gap in the wall like that.
No, you don't. No, and I think that I will say, I know we've talked a lot about the goals we scored. I think a lot of the goals we conceded today, if not all of them, I thought were sloppy. Actually, I thought they were stuff that we should have done better for. And in any game against a decent opposition, we would have got punished a few more times over. So I think there's work to be done. Whilst as good as some of the good of the attacking intent today was positive, I thought defensively we have to do better. But as I said previously, I'm not going to read too much into it. It wasn't about performances today. It was about minutes in the legs and getting that fitness level up. And I think, like I say, we've got to take into context the week they've had, give them the bye. Let's see how we move into the next few weeks.
Yeah, I get that. 4 minutes later, this second half was absolutely hectic. Great ball through the middle by Richarlison, looking for Son running in behind. I mean, it was Kane-esque, the ball that he made. Sonny was then pulled down on the edge of the box by Kim Dong-min. He was given a red card. Harry Kane then scored a deflected free kick. I mean, I think it was his first free kick he scored since that deflected free kick at Villa, which is the first and only free kick he scored. And I could not believe my eyes. I actually celebrated it quite a lot because I was like so shocked. I mean, I just didn't ever think I'd see the day, Gibbo.
Well, we were talking about this before as well. I think that you can... I know this free kick guy hasn't been there all that long, but I think it was something that had been worked on because there was like a little cluster of players that moved from one side of the wall across to the other, and then Kane is hit the free kick into that space where they've moved from. And I think, like we said, didn't we, Craig? It wasn't the perfect execution, but you could tell it was we thought that it was something that they had been working on, wasn't it? There was definitely something there. There was
intent. There was intent to the free kick, and I think too often with Kane previously, and a lot of our free kicks in previous seasons gone by, there was never any plan. It was just try and get the ball on target, see what happens. I think I was really excited when we both reflected on that free kick, just because of the impact that the new free kick guy is going to have, because I do think it brings intent, and I think with that, perhaps we'll see better from Kane in terms of what he does do.
Instead of just turning up and trying to strike it, get his foot through it.
Because even to have the manipulation of the wall like we saw today at the basic level, I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen the YouTube videos of the teams that this guy's coached for free kicks and some of the crazy routines that they go through, but that was at the most simplistic level what I would expect us to see. And we created disruption in the wall, which ultimately created the goal. The opportunity. So imagine when we've had time to work on that with this free kick coach guy even more, we will see better execution, better intent, and I think we'll see a lot more free kick goals, not only for Kane, but for Sonny, because I do think it will be different players will take free kicks now, depending on the routine or whatever we're trying to set up to do. The key thing for me is the word intense. There was clear intent with that free kick today, and it paid off.
I think Perisic is a good dead ball specialist as
Yeah.
well.
And Dyer can take a free kick, can't he? Like we spoke before. That gives you Dyer, Kane, Son, Perisic. So there's 4 different takers. Kulusevski, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a left-footed from the right and it's sort of just off-centre, I think, and it's not too far outside of the box, he's got a good shot on it. But I'm just going to...
£3 a month.
It's £3 and I'll put the banner up for you. There we go.
Worth it. You get to see exclusive content and join the Slack group where you can ask me or anyone slightly more intelligent or qualified questions about anything. And if you ask me questions, I will probably reply. Questions about literally anything. And I think the £3 a month is well worth it for that. And of course, it supports the show, which allows us to continue doing this with nice software and not just us sat in our sheds doing it. So no pressure, but if you're feeling
worth it, mate.
Good to join it.
Competitions as well. So there's the prediction league, fantasy football. You can win signed
Ticket
merch,
share,
things like that. So
ticket share,
good value for your money.
Yeah, really good value for your money. On to the next thing. 1 sec.
It's heating up.
We haven't spoke about a single transfer yet. 51 minutes in.
We're 51
this
minutes.
Is great.
It's great. Then in came Troy Parrott, Harvey White, Malachi Fagan Walcott, and Charlie Sayers, replacing Richarlison, Sanchez, Mora, and Dyer. What did you make of the young boys' performances, Craig?
I thought they come in and they did well. They didn't look out of place, particularly in the context of the game. I thought they worked particularly hard. I thought Harvey White, especially, I thought he put a great shift in when he came on. And it's, I'm excited by the youth, I think. So overall, I thought that, they're in the game. They're learning from the world-class players that we've got. And I think the future's bright. So I was excited to see them. I do think that a lot of these youth players, the names we've just mentioned there, will probably end up on loan again this season with a view of, I don't think any of them are quite ready to step up into what would be an ordinary match day squad in the Premier League, but there's definitely potential there. I was impressed with them all.
Yeah, definitely. Gibbo, what did you make of them? And Pepe Macassar as well.
Yeah, I mean, because I was working today and I had some other stuff on, it was my daughter's prom, so we had to get her off to that safely. So I literally had to watch the game, and I finished watching it a few minutes before I came into the studio. So I sort of fast forwarded the bit to the end. But I thought when Sar came on, I thought he looked quite neat and tidy. I thought he just, he looked comfortable on the ball. When I've seen Harvey White play before, he looked superb on the ball. Harvey White, yeah. And I've seen a lot of comments, people saying he put a shift in. So yeah, I echo sort of like what Craig says. Really, I don't see any of them ready to push for a place in the first team yet. Maybe Harvey White, because of, but I'm going on what I've seen before and sort of like how when I watch him, how he looks on the ball. But yeah, they all sort of look competent and tidy, don't they? And they don't sort of look out of place. It's very early doors, friendly, and they're playing with really good players, aren't they? Let's be honest. So
I do think that Sar is going to be potentially a big player. I think he's a type player, and he's in that mold of those sort of Bentancur and Højbjerg type mold, isn't he? He's got that sort of profile about him, and I think he looks
physically quite big, doesn't he, for a young kid?
He looks like he's someone that's going to develop into a real Premier League player, so I'm really excited about him. Again, I do wonder whether he sticks around this season or whether he ends up on another loan. It'll be interesting to see how that one develops, but certainly I think we've got a player in Sar. Really excited about what he does over the next couple of years.
Because I think from what I've only seen a little bit today, but you think to yourself, if you could get him a decent Premier League move, say to like a Forest or a Fulham, and he got a lot of game time, you could see him possibly coming on quicker, couldn't you? If he was getting plenty of game time, he looked quite confident. Like I said, physically, he sort of looks the part, and he's still only a young lad. So a good Premier League loan where he was going to play, I think, would be an excellent move for him. Unless we're going to use him quite a bit, which don't know yet, do we? But yeah.
No, we don't. I do think that the key thing you said there, Gibbo, which I think is fundamental this season, is the likes of Troy Parrott, Harvey White. You know, they need to get Premier League loans now. They need
good loan moves. They need.
Yeah, good loan moves or very top end championship.
Even top end championship loans like Norwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Because I think this is a crunch year for Troy Parrott in terms of is he going to make it or not at Spurs. I think his next loan move, which wherever that comes this season, is going to define what happens with him moving forward. Because I do see him behind the pecking order in terms of Scarlett. At this moment in time, I think Scarlett will stay around and will be a part of the squad this season. So Troy's got a big year.
I think Alistair Gold. I'm sure I saw something earlier where Alistair Gold was saying Troy Parrott and Tottenham are sort of like on the same page. They're thinking a good loan move this season for him to come back in, hopefully really push the following season. I saw the tweet earlier. When I was at work, so I didn't really look at it too much, but I think that's sort of the gist of it. So, yeah, but there's decent. I think Norwich is a pretty decent club for. Like Skip went there and excelled. I think they're not afraid to play these players, are they not? Clubs like Norwich, but Fulham, Forest, Bournemouth.
Yeah,
a few good clubs there that we could possibly loan some players out to.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, pretty much at the end of the game, a loose pass to Sonny by Team K-League, which was a bit suspicious, I think. Meant Sonny did the rest and put it in the back of the net for his second goal, 6-3. I mean, it's Sonny, but that pass was...
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some suspended betting in some Chinese betting league somewhere, I'll tell you, because it was another interesting pass. But yeah, no, great finish. But I was just pleased for Son to get that goal from open play as well, on top of the penalty in front of the Korean fans. But yeah, it was an interesting pass.
Gibbo.
Give it to Son in them positions. There's only one outcome, isn't there? But yeah, without saying it was dodgy, you giving them the benefit of the doubt, you can maybe get away with those passes against some of the play without being disrespectful to the players in that league. You might be able to get away with it a bit more over there, but you're not going to get away with that with the likes of Son playing, are you?
Absolutely not.
Nah, he's going to punish you.
Okay, so we're going to review sort of the individual players. I'm going to start with Richarlison. Obviously, big money signing, up to 60 million. Impressed with his hold-up play. I thought technical ability, some really good moments on the ball, got in some good positions. Thought he was unlucky not to score. What did you make of his debut, Gibbo?
I thought he should have done better with a header. But I thought full of running, tried to link the play up. You can sort of see with him that maybe if Kane is having to rest or is injured, then Richarlison could fill that void somewhat. Not exactly the same, but yeah, I thought he had a couple of loose touches, but overall I thought he was pretty good. He put himself about, didn't he? Worked hard. Like you said, few nice little back heels and nice ball through to Son. Yeah, good. So I just hope, I know they're only friendlies, but I just hope he gets off the mark sooner rather than later. Because when you play up front, when you do that, the longer you go without scoring, it will start weighing on his mind and it will become a thing. So I just hope in the next couple of friendlies he can nick a goal, a reward for the hard work he's put in. And then he'll probably settle down a little bit more then as well once he's done that. So yeah, I thought he was good. And wasn't it good like when he started? You're thinking, well, Kane's not playing, but Richarlison's starting up front. So it's not like, well, who's going to get the goals? Who's going to do this? Everybody's sort of a little bit more like Richarlison's playing up there. So yeah, I thought good debut, good performance. Should have scored, but yeah, I thought he was decent.
How much of this do you think we're going to see next season, Craig?
I think we're going to see a lot of it, and I'm buzzing for it. I thought what was interesting today, I will say, with Richarlison is he started off in the traditional Kane position, and then he moved over to the right hand side, didn't he? And so I do think, I've seen a lot of talk about we still need another striker to come in. I think we've got the Kane alternative, if you like, in Richarlison now. I think he is that Kane alternative, but I think the opportunity to see Kane, Sonny, and Richarlison is in the Premier League next season is going to be lightning. It's going to go off, and I can't wait to be there to see it.
I mean, as soon as Richarlison gets on the same wavelength of Kane as Kane and Son, James, it's curtains for everyone else, ain't it? The goal them three will score.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you look at his Richarlison's shots per touches in the box ratio, it's like 2.3. So in other words, for every touch he's taking in the box, 2.3 times he's taking a shot, which is really good. That's better than Jesus. That's better than a lot of players. I've seen some people saying, "Oh, he only contributed 15 goals this season." Yeah, in a really, really, really fucking shit Everton team, managed by a bloke who, I'm going to be honest, would get fucking Barcelona relegated on Football Manager. So he's a good player. He's aggressive. He's basically Lucas, right? But not bad, right? He's got that kind of Brazilian fuck with me and I burn your house downery a little bit, right? And I fucking love that. It's beautiful. And he's a very talented football player. I've seen some people saying, "Oh, we haven't paid for him," compared to Jesus. Yeah, but Jesus is actually quite shit. Have you spoken to a Man City fan? They do exist. Mr. Sitters. He's a good player. He contributes a lot to a team that doesn't do a lot. He's got that hard-working ethic in him already. Yeah, they're going to score a lot of goals. I don't expect him to start every game over Kulusevski because Kulusevski's great as well, but it means we have options, right?
Yeah.
He's going to play a lot of the games where we can maybe rest Kane, or he's going to come on. Conte's going to be able to look at his bench and have options other than Harry Winks and Lucas Moura. He's going to see a player like Richarlison or Kulusevski or even Son and think, okay, I've got valid options here who can come on and scare the fucking shit out of a team, right?
At times you could see all four of them on the pitch, James, couldn't you? You could see those three and Kulusevski, because Kulusevski, Conte's mentioned before, could play right wing back. If we're pushing and we need bodies on the pitch, attacking bodies, all four of them could be on the pitch at the same time.
You can also drop Kane deeper as well.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah. Don't
Kane, Son,
start some PG thinking about that.
With Moura at right wing back. Imagine all five attacking players on the pitch.
Mind you, if that's happening, we're probably in the shit. If we're going like that, so
this is true, but I mean, it'd be lovely to see. Speaking of Kane and Son, normal service resumed straight away, Craig. It's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I said earlier on that to see both of those players start from where they ended last season, I think is great, and I think it just bodes so well for the start of the Premier League season. We're going to see two players equal their fitness, top form, clearly bought into the Conte project, and it only means one thing: goals, goals, and goals.
I mean, Gibbo. Them two are just...
It's like I said earlier about Kane. We're privileged, aren't we? I've seen Berbatov and Keane play together. I've seen Klinsmann in Sheringham. I've seen some great strike partnerships. Crouch, I know Crouch wasn't a great player, but him and Van der Vaart were excellent together. And we've had loads of good players, but I genuinely believe that we are in a real privileged position to see these two play together. Two fantastic players at the peak of their powers playing for our club, and they are buying into what we're trying to do, and they're going to be if we're going to do anything, if we are going to win anything, if we are going to progress, they are going to be a major reason why we do. And it's brilliant. Like I say to my lad, I said, you don't realise what you're witnessing here. Like, you're witnessing greatness. You know, when people talk about watching Jimmy Greaves, and when you speak to older people and they're like, oh, what a great player. He's the best player ever. Fantastic. And we hear those stories from even non-Spurs fans, like, about what a great player is. And I genuinely believe that we have got something like that with Kane and Son. They're the Premier League, the highest goal scoring and assist partnership, aren't they? So it's just, and they've still probably got, you can see them having another 2-3 seasons together, the way it's going. So just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've been thinking about it more the last couple of days. Like I said, I was talking to my son, and it's just, we are really privileged to watch those two play together for our club.
I mean, what we need to polish it off with, Kane and Son, in the peak of their powers, and like Gibbo says, they could go on for another 3-4 years easily. They both look after themselves. They're both the ultimate professionals. We need to give them trophies, don't we, James?
Yeah. Sorry, Shan, I should have said that. Obviously, I'm not. Oh, we deserve to win a trophy. You get what you deserve in football. Yeah. But those two, for how good they are and what they do, you know, they do deserve to win something. If you get what I mean, without saying we, you know, our entitlement that we should be winning something, but it'd be great to win something with those two in the team, and
not just those two as well, Hugo.
Yeah, and Hugo, but exactly. There's players there who have been with us for a while and sort of taken us to where we are now, but because we could go on and win something, they could leave and we could like fluke our way to a cup final or win a cup final after that. But yeah, I want these two guys to be in the squad and the team when we win something, because they've just been. It's just a pleasure to watch them, isn't it? You just sometimes some of the things they do, you just sort of laugh at it. Just like brilliant, great players.
James.
Well, I have a picture of me and my dad with Hugo Lloris. Obviously, he's the best player in the world. Lovely guy, by the way. Took a picture of us. Anyway, so cheers, Steve, for that. Steve helped us out. Best man. It's kind of weird, right? Because like my greatest, I remember someone who wasn't even a Spurs fan saying the big thing I'm worried about during the Pochettino era is that Spurs don't go for someone in a transfer window, and we in 10 years' time look back at the Pochettino era as, wow, this is the team that got close to winning stuff. Wouldn't that be a shame? That is the shame of it. And I worry that in the Conte era, maybe in 10 years' time, we'll say, wow, Kane and Son, what a great duo. Isn't it a shame they never won anything? Isn't it a shame that, wow, they got the Golden Boot. Wow, they really, they got close under Conte to winning the FA Cup, but lost to Klopp or something. Yeah. I don't care the most about, the cups, maybe, because, I play Football Manager, right? I don't try in them. I'm a bit weird, but I'd love to win anything. I'm sure if we won any of them, I would be screaming very vulgar, "Fuck yes!" Right? We're better than you, right? They just. I don't know if they deserve something, but really, realistically, on individual ability, Son and Kane are two of the best players in the league. Name someone better than Harry Kane. Name someone better. You can't. He's as good as De Bruyne in this passing. He's a really, really fucking good finisher. He's like Wayne Rooney on fucking steroids because he's not shit. And he's genuinely in that elite class of player. Had he played for Barcelona, he'd be in conversations with players like Ronaldo. I know to some people that's blasphemy to state, but really he is that fucking good. He played in a horrendous Spurs team one year and won the Golden Boot. I mean, what more can you say? Sonny Kim-min, really, really good player. Have you ever seen that guy moan? No, he's a professional. He works hard. He got the Golden Boot last year as a winger, playing second fiddle to Harry Kane. Not taking penalties. Had he taken penalties, he'd probably have got 30 goals, maybe a few more. They are a magnificent duo, both professionals. The only thing I'll say I disagree with Matt on is I don't think they'll go to their early 30s. I think it can go to the mid to late 30s because, they're both insanely physically fit. And I mean, Son will slow down a little bit, but he's a great
Son
technical
still
player as
hasn't slowed down though. He's just turned 30 and he's still as quick as he's ever been.
Can we find out what Son's?
Right.
That pesky mouse.
Yeah.
He's back. It's all good.
I'm sorry, it's happening again. I'm quite drunk, unfortunately. I'm very tired. I've been up since like 5 in the morning, so I'm sorry.
Pissed up with a dodgy mouse.
Stop touching your mouse.
Stop touching your mouse.
It's on the desk, not on my hands. I'm
There
sorry.
we go.
What was I saying? Yeah, I need to know what Son's guy is because he looks pretty good for his age. I'm just saying. They're both going to go on to their late 30s. Kane could go play American football in his mid-30s and he'd still be a pretty good player. I remember that there was an awful player who did that anyway.
Players tend to be in better shape now, don't they? Top players.
He's 37. He's still doing it at the highest level.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who I usually don't like, he's 40 and he's still scoring goals. Sorry, I got to talk about else. No,
they look after themselves now.
Take your night off.
Talking of trophies, this man, what can we expect from him this season? I am so excited for our first full season of Conte. I cannot even tell you how excited I am. Like, Craig, it's going to be special, isn't it?
I think it is going to be a special season. I think Spurs fans, we tend to go through this every single year, don't we? This could be the season. We could have a special year. But I do think this is different this time with this man at the helm in Conte. I think we've got a world-class manager, probably the best manager we could have got in the world football at this moment in time, and he's at our club. And the transformation that he has overseen since coming in is just phenomenal. And it's just such an exciting time. The only thing I would like to see, in the same way Conte famously said many times last season that he wanted the team to be more stable. I hope that the team put in performances which allow him to be a bit more stable, because some of those roller coasters of emotions he had as going on last season was, I don't want to see that again this year. So I'm hoping that we have a more stable team, a more stable Conte. And if we have those things, I'm confident we'll be having trophies as well. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Gibbo?
Yeah, he's the man, isn't he? I think as long as he's being backed and he can see progression and that he's got a chance of winning, he's happy, because that's what he's here for. He's not here to, I'm not saying we're going to win the league or whatever, but he's not here for third and fourth place finishes. Or like James said about, we could nearly win a trophy. Nearly's not going to be good enough for him. It's brilliant. It's great that oh, sorry. Yeah, go on. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, though, and that's what that's the power of Conte, though, isn't it? Because he hasn't just changed the players, he's changed the club. The club and the fans. The club, the fans. We have never been as united as a fan base, I think, than we are under Conte, and the players and the fans as well. And the last time we had this was, back in the Glory Poch days, and I think it's been such a long time coming, and we've got this. Everyone's united, apart from when we talk about transfers, but everyone's united in the main in terms of the direction of the football club. Everyone's on the same bus, and it's just phenomenal. And that man on the screen, that sexy man, is the one that's done it all. He's responsible for it, and long may it continue. I mean, anyone that can get Levy to pump in 150 million of his, of new cash is a messiah.
That's because he is here to win, and we know that as fans, don't we? We know that he's not come here to play second fiddle. He's not come to say, I'm getting a shitload of money, and top four. Oh, top four will be great if we get top four. He's thinking, I want to win.
He wants to win the league.
So there'll be people maybe in this chat or in our group chats or whatever, or put anybody out there. I've got far more knowledge than me and will probably tell me something different. But I think you look at Klopp and Pep, probably two of the best coaches in world football, if not the best. And then Conte's got to be well in with a shout of being the third best coach. I can't think, and not through Spurs bias. I can't think of anybody else who sort of who could be that third, that one behind those two. So
I think
what a great position to be in. And like you said, I love the fact that sort of like all, apart from transfers, obviously, we're all sort of like, everybody's behind this bloke, aren't they? Everybody's like, this is the guy. We just want him to maybe commit to us a little bit more. But it doesn't matter that he's only got like 1 year left on his contract with possibly another one. We're all fully behind him. All these people say, so if Conte wants, if that's what Conte wants, that's what I want, and I'm happy. When usually we're all in slack. Someone will say something about the manager, and someone else will be going, nah, fucking shit. He's not this. He's not this. He's not that. But everybody, we're all pushing in the same direction, and that's what we want. And we're all, and I'm excited. I think. I don't know. I don't think we're going to win it, but I think we're going to have a really good go. I think we're going to have a really good go at the league this year, and I think because this bloke who's in charge here, I don't think he'll allow us to not do that. I just can't see it.
Sorry, James, you were going to say something. So what did you want to say?
I was going to be controversial. Maybe Conte's better than Guardiola, right? Like, Guardiola hasn't won the league since he managed Barcelona, and he had Lionel Messi. I mean, I could win the league if I had Lionel Messi in my team, let's be real. I'm not saying he's a bad manager, Guardiola. I'm just saying, he consistently makes, in my opinion, incorrect decisions in terms of squad building. He picks intelligence and skill over character, which I think you need a character in the team. Conte's very much you can tell from the way he talks, he requires a degree of character from his players and hard work. I don't know, right? It's hard to say. Maybe Conte's in that elite category. Had he managed a Barcelona or something, he probably would have a Champions League, right? It's because he doesn't play this really pretty Cruyffian football, which I love, but so he doesn't get all the media plaudits because he plays very winning football. Like I said, it's
pragmatic.
He's a good Jose Mourinho. He's a modern Jose Mourinho. He knows the players he wants. He knows what he expects out of them. He loves players who will give 110%, and he doesn't give two flying fucks about statistics as long as his team win or get a good result. He's not a Guardiola who thinks, well, if we have to play this inverted wing back and have this possession, it's like, no. Conte's just sat there like, I don't give two shits, drinking his red wine. It's simple as, he's done a lot more than I think other top managers. He's managed at an international level. He revitalized Italy. He revitalized Juventus. The thing that still stands out for me watching 2016 Euros was one of the Italy players had a throw-in against Germany in the quarterfinal that went to penalty. And the Italy player looks to Conte and basically says, what do I do? And Conte starts shouting and waving at him, like, throw it down. And I just think, imagine having a team of players who are so into what you're saying that they're literally asking you what to do with a throw-in. Like, what can you say to that? Can you say that about, a Guardiola team or even a Klopp team? No. So, Conte, best manager in the world, change my mind. You can't.
Hope you're right, mate.
It's a shout. I'd love you all to tell us what this means. Koreans already have made up a Korean name for Conte and Gunte. I want to say that says. Tell us what it means. We'd love to know. He's going to win us a trophy this season.
Definitely.
And I think it'll be the FA Cup. And then I think we'll build on that next season.
I want to win anything. I think he'll want to win anything as well. Conte, I think he'll want to win every single game he's in. I don't think. I'm not saying we'll put out our strongest teams in certain cups, but he certainly won't be sending them out there thinking, well, if we don't win tonight, it won't matter. It might help us in the long run. I think he'll want to win every game. He hates losing. I hate losing. It's brilliant. I don't want to lose a single game. I don't want to concede a goal. And I don't think he won't accept players not buying into what he wants to do. You look at he's left Lachau. The four people he's left at home, he could have quite easily took them on this tour and give himself a couple more bodies, but he doesn't mess around, does he? He got rid of them last year when he didn't need them to benefit the squad, and it did. Dele Alli, loads of people. Oh, I think there's a player in Dele Alli. No, out the door, mate. You're not doing it. You're not doing what we need. I need a group of players who are fully behind me and want to work and do what I need them to do. And look what he proved with that. So if you make that pool of players bigger and they all buy into it.
I think he didn't bring Ndombele because he would have killed him in that shuttle runs. Imagine Ndombele doing those 43, whatever it was, sprints. Not a chance.
Manslaughter. He'd have been done for manslaughter.
It would have been manslaughter.
Ndombele sprinting? What are you talking about? I mean, maybe if you put like a McDonald's at the other end of the pitch, I don't know.
The exciting thing for me with Conte, and I don't know if any of you guys have watched his interview he did, where he was talking about the new transfers, and he said that he's ambitious and the club have the same ambition. He believes that Spurs match his ambition now, and I think that's pivotal.
That's massive.
Because last season he was doubting it. He was like, if the club can match my ambition, he could be like Klopp. He could be to us what Klopp is to Liverpool, and he said that in his press conference. As long as we match his ambition, he's happy to stay here for the long run and have this project with us. And I just think that's so exciting.
I said that last season, Shan. I said if we can, he doesn't tend to stay around that long at places. He was at Juventus for a bit, but if we could get him to buy into the club and we buy into what he wants, we can match his ambition. He could be our version of Jurgen Klopp. They're both passionate. You see the fans, what they're like with Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. See how the fans are with Conte here. We could build something special if we can just keep matching that ambition and keep pushing and pushing and believing.
Okay, this brings us on to the most exciting part of the show. What have we learned from this game, and what areas do we still need to strengthen in the transfer window, Craig?
I think what have we learned from this game? I think it's the first pre-season game, so it's got to be taken with a pinch of salt. I would say more work needed on the defence. I definitely still feel we need to, even with the additions we already have, I think another centre-half wouldn't go amiss, potentially looking at what may happen in terms of transfers out of the club. But I would like to see potentially another centre-half to come in. Other than that, controversially, I'm quite content. Maybe we keep talking about that creative midfielder coming in to provide something different, but I do struggle personally to see how that fits into this Conte system anyway. I think when we're so heavy loaded with that profile of midfielder we've talked about, in terms of Bissouma, Skippy, Højbjerg and Bentancur, I don't see how a creative midfielder necessarily fits into that alongside the attacking players we already have and what they can do in terms of rotating across that back three or dropping into a more deeper position. So for me, more work, not necessarily on. It'd be great to see another centre half come in. I think it's more about I want to see the defensive unit better in the coming days, in the coming weeks.
Gibbo?
Yeah, I know where Craig's come from. I don't think I've really learned a lot from it. I thought it was a good game. I think pre-season's all about being prepared for that first game of the season.
Yeah.
Really, that is all it's about. The squad. I think I'd like another centre-back to come in. I think now we've got Longley, I'd probably like somebody to come in who can compete with Dyer. Because like I always said, I think competition is good. I think that brings out, in top sportsmen, competition brings out better performances, makes people better. So I'd probably like to see a centre-half come in. I think right wing-back, we do need someone.
Jed Spence?
Yeah, Jed Spence looks like the name, and I've said my piece on him, but ideally we'd like a real shit-up right wing-back, wouldn't we? I think we all would. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. And I think, like in a Conte team, the creativity sort of comes from out wide, as they say, and your front players. But I'd like to see a more creative option from the middle of midfield. I know when you got Skip, Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Bissouma, 4 really good midfielders. I'm happy with those. But I think I would like to see just somebody a little bit more creative who can do something maybe different from them. And I know it's quite tough because people want to play and that makes the squad bigger. But I do think I'm not saying we're missing it and we badly miss it, but I would like to see somebody with that little different extra skill, somebody who can sort of beat a man and then pick a pass, or and whether you've just got to change the formation a bit now and then, and maybe an opportunity will come up that Spurs will look at. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I was talking about an Eriksen type player. He's not coming now, and I'm not saying it had to be Eriksen, but somebody who's got that about them. I think that's the one thing we are missing. So but I do think that we will. I can see another centre back coming in. I can see us getting a right wing back, and then I wouldn't be surprised if we did bring a sort of a creative, maybe not a central midfielder, not a striker, somebody you can float about a bit. I think that there's a possibility that we could do another 3 deals before the transfer window shut. So yeah, for me, the game was what it was today. All about minutes, all about getting those miles in their legs, and I think those centre back, right wing back, and a creative player in the squad, and I think we're looking okay.
Gibbo, I think Spence looks like it's going to happen. Everything is pointing to it happening. Do you see him? Sorry, Shan, I'm doing your job, but do you see him as a starter in our lineup, or do you see that still being one of Royale?
I'm not saying I see him being a starter because of his quality, but I've read that when he was all this talk of him moving and there were a few clubs interested, he'd been saying that, wow, wherever I go, I want to be playing. I want to be playing football. Young, I've been playing at Forest. I want to play. So I think Emerson and Doherty have both improved under Conte, no doubt. But I think they can both be improved upon. And so if Spence were to come in, I don't know if he'd be an immediate starter, but I don't think there's a massive high bar there for him to reach to be able to take that place. But I can see him eventually being, if he comes in, I can quite easily see him being our starting right wing back. Would I like us to get somebody better? Absolutely. Not saying that he's rubbish, but would I like us to get a bigger, more established right wing back? Absolutely. But I can eventually. I don't see Conte back in that move unless he believes he's going to add something.
James, what do you think?
Pre-season game, can't really take that much from it, in my opinion. Players, right back. I've said enough about Spence, so don't need to talk about that. Creative midfield would be nice. I mean, even Conte at Chelsea, he played Fabregas in some games. He's way more creative, right? It would be nice to have that kind of player who that role, even if it's someone a bit older like Perisic. Not Perisic, but someone like Perisic who's older, who can drop in and play, a few games here and there. That'd be nice. Aside from that, I wouldn't mind another backup centre back. I think Tanganga and Rodon both need to go out on loan, or at least one of them does, right? So to let them go out on loan and bring someone in to replace him, and have Davies, Sanchez, and whoever this new guy is as cover is pretty good, right? And then those guys can go out on loan. Worst case, they come back with a bit more experience. We can reevaluate. Best case, they come back, maybe come into the fold, or we can sell them on for a bit of money. There's no bad scenario there, I don't think. We definitely need a right wing back. Looks like Doherty. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell what Conte will see there. Royal looks a lot better, but
I think Royal.
Yeah, I think is Royal's a lot younger, right? So he can improve, and I have to say he's really fucking likable. I want him to be good at football. So it's difficult. I mean, it's a preseason game, so I don't think you can draw tons from it other than enjoying the game of football, right? But
I mean, I
it's
loved it.
tough, right?
Look at his
It's a
smile.
nice image.
It's great.
He looks like he's happy there, doesn't he? He doesn't look like he's get me out of this place.
Well, he said
He's-
that his agent or his dad came out and said there's no way he wants to leave Spurs this season. He's playing. He's happy. He loves the club. He's not going anywhere. So
this might be like a bit controversial, but I could see. I'm not saying this is what I want to happen, but I could see him staying, and I could see Doherty moving on. I don't think if Doherty or I wouldn't be shocked with either one moved on. I'm not saying I want him gone. I'm not like get him out of the club or whatever. I'm just saying
more likely than Emerson. I don't think Emerson will go anywhere.
I think being controversial, if I was to say this on Spurs Twitter, I'll probably end up getting lynched. Yeah. But I think Conte is perfectly happy with Roy, and I think he's perfectly happy with Doherty. I think if he wasn't, they wouldn't be on this tour. I think we've evidenced that with the players he's left at home. If he doesn't see them as part of the squad or part of the future of the club, that he didn't bring them, and that he brought both of those two things. So, yes, I think they're trying for Spence. I think there's no doubt that that's a thing. But I think if it didn't happen, I think he would start the season with Royale and Doherty as backup.
Yeah, right. I'm just sort of putting stuff out there, but I think they're easily upgradable, but I think they're perfectly fine if you can't get the option you want. Do you get what I mean? It's but and Doherty is in with Kane and Dyer, isn't he? He's like quite pally with the guys who you'd say are probably the top men in the changing room. So whether that'll hold any weight, I don't know, but
not with Conte, I'd imagine. There's no player power with Conte.
No, probably not. But I think it's an area that to push on. We need to do with upgrading.
Doherty's flexible and he can play on the left or right. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if we had Spence, Doherty and Royal. So then you've got Doherty as the option because Cess's injury record isn't great. And Perisic, although his injury record's really good, he is another year older. So it's good to have someone that can float. In worst case, we've got someone that's really quite capable on both wings.
Yeah. But with this Spence thing now, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, been going on for so long. In one way, I sort of think they can't really want him that bad. It's just dragging on for so long, isn't it? It's ridiculous. But if he comes in, he comes in. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Simple as.
Yeah, I do think that Emerson will be the starting right wing back against Southampton. I do believe that.
Fair enough.
So that brings us on to. Hang on, I'm just going to remove this a sec. The four that are going. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that these four are going. And just seeing Ndombele on my screen is making me very angry. But Harry Winks, obviously, strong links to Leicester. Looks like it's potentially going to happen. What do you think about that move, Craig? Do you think, obviously, being a local boy?
Yeah. I think that I take great pleasure in the fact that what is probably our fifth or sixth choice centre midfielder will go to Leicester and be their starting midfielder. That pleases me greatly. But I think I am a little, Harry Winks divides opinion amongst Spurs fans. But one thing you can't deny is he's one of our own. He's come through the youth ranks, and I think he's done great things. Most notably that game against Real Madrid. I think we'll all remember his performances there. I think it's time for Harry Winks to move on. I think Leicester's a good fit for him in terms of the profile of club and how they try and play football. I do worry with us losing Harry Winks as a homegrown player and the balance that has in our squad, because I know we have got issues with our homegrown allocation and we're going to have to address that somehow with the squad. But yeah, I think good luck to Harry Winks, and he'll certainly get a respectful applause for me when he comes back to the lane.
James, I'm going to let you talk about Giovanni Lo Celso. Where do you think he'll go?
Villarreal. Don't give a shit. Bye. Fuck off. Don't care. Simple. Only one I give any shit about is Winks because he is a Spurs boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He cares. I hope he goes somewhere where he can play football. You know, there's a player in him. He just needs his confidence back. He's a Spurs boy. You know, I'd sit down and have a drink with him. The others I wouldn't. I don't care. Giovanni Lo Celso can piss off to bloody Guatemala. I don't care. Same with Tango and Ndombele. Fuck off. Don't care.
Gibbo?
Reggie, I feel bad for, but piss off. Don't care.
And Ndombele? Where can he go? Where can he
genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. His agent's out there talking to people. Apparently, he could end up anywhere, couldn't he? It's going to be a case of who's going to take him, who's possibly going to pay a chunk of his wages. Probably got to hope that some club have a bit of an injury crisis and need to get him in because nobody's going to take him. I can't see. I think in our group, I think it was Caller put something about him going to AC Milan and that they'd agreed to sign him on a 4-year contract. I was not a chance. That's rubbish. Not a chance. I don't know where he'll end up. I think I would. He'll probably go on till the last day of the transfer window.
Yeah,
and we'll end up getting him out on loan then. I just don't know. I just don't know I don't know what to do with him. I don't know where's best for him. Don't know where his head's at. You don't know. He went back to Lyon, and that's where he sort of made his name. And he couldn't make it work when he went back there. So
I know where's
best
best
to really.
I know where's best to him. Left back in the changing room.
Not our changing room though, because he's a bad vibe.
No. I think Region sounds like he could end up at Sevilla. He's been there before, had a successful period there, so that'd be a good move. If we are going to let him go, that'd be a good move. Lo Celso, there's probably some legs still in him going to Villarreal, and maybe us if we are interested in Pau Torres, maybe using Lo Celso in that deal. In Winks, I've spoke about Winks loads before. I'm not going to shit all over him, but just needs to move on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hopefully to a club where he'll play. Like you said, he loves the club, but we've moved on from him. He needs to go and play. So I'm sure by the end of the transfer window, all 4 of those players will be playing their football elsewhere, either on permanent deals or loan, because they're obviously not wanted by Conte.
Yeah, I mean, the one I feel the most bad. Obviously, Winks he's a Spurs boy, and I wish him well, but it is time for him to move on. The one I do feel sort of sad about is Region. I mean, I just do. I just feel bad. Like, I don't feel like he's that bad that he deserved to be left out completely.
But he may have been left out, Shan, because that move's in the pipeline. It might not be like your shit. Don't bother coming to Korea with us. It might be, look, best you stay at home because there's a deal going through for you to go back to Spain. You'd like to think it is that because he's always appeared on board, hasn't he? He's always sort of given his all for the club.
I think my take on Regulon is Conte's made a decision. Sessegnon has proved his worth there. You know, he sees Sessegnon as a long-term left wing back for the club, and the whole purpose of the Perisic signing was to help develop Sessegnon in that role, right? And you can't have everyone in the squad, can you? It's a heavy squad at the moment, and there's casualties. And I think Reggie, as bad as it is one of those casualties. And I feel I like Reggie Long. I think he's a good player, but he's not part of our future. So yeah, good luck back in Spain or wherever you end up.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
It could have gone the other way as well, couldn't it? In another world, in another chain of events, it could have been Sessegnon that got the boot, and it was Reggie that stayed. You know, I think Sessegnon has done enough last year to prove he's the long-term solution in that that position.
Is homegrown as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know you say like you're sad, Shan, and it is like that. But I've said this before. Unfortunately, in football, if you want to, at the higher you go, there's no room for sentiment. That there's just, you've got to be more ruthless. You've got to be. And unfortunately, I think that's what's happening with Reguilon. And obviously Winks as well. I think Ndombele and Lo Celso ones are more like, obviously, Ndombele, the obvious with him. But I think Lo Celso, I'm not sure Conte really likes him. What he get, he's not convinced by him. And there was talk that he wasn't well liked around the training ground and stuff, wasn't there? So, it is what it is. Hopefully they move on, we move on, and we come out better.
So moving on, these are our next 3 friendly games. They're coming thick and fast. We've got Sevilla. We reunite with my favourite, one of my absolute favourites, Eric Lamela. Sorry, HG, but I do love him. Reunite with him in Suwon, and we can watch that live on Spurs Play this Saturday at 12. I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a good game. Then after that, we face Rangers at Ibrox on the 23rd of July at 3 o'clock.
I'll be there for that.
Gibbo will be there for that. Are you looking forward to it?
I can't wait. I've always sort of like, obviously I'm a Spurs fan, but I used to love Rangers back in the day when they had like Gascoigne and they won. They were winning up in Scotland and McCoist and that were there. I've never been to Rangers, so to go and watch Spurs Rangers I can't wait. Roll on the 23rd of July.
And then there's a somewhat controversial Spurs versus Roma, Conte versus Mourinho in Israel, 30th July at 7:15, which will complete our pre-season, and then we focus on Southampton. That will be the 6th of August, which I'll be at. I'm sure Craig, you'll be at Southampton as well. Gibbo?
Tickets go on sale Monday, I believe, to members. So
fingers
South
crossed.
Stand if I can.
Yeah. What do we make of these friendlies, Craig?
Yeah, they're good friendlies. I think the good level opposition. I think it's not the only thing I would say. It's the travel involved in the friendlies. I'm a little bit unsure of, particularly that last friendly leading up to the start of the season to fly all the way out to Israel. I think it's a bit unnecessary. I understand why, but I just think it's a bit unnecessary. But they're good friendlies. I'm excited about the Roma one out of all of them, actually, just because of the Jose Mourinho thing. I think that's going to be a really interesting game.
He'll want to win that, won't he?
Oh, of course he will. Yeah,
There's
there's going to be there'll be nothing.
He
no
will
love lost
stink
there.
the joint out.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, by the way. Those 4 we talked about leaving, if one of them end up in Roma.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Ndombele,
surprised.
maybe.
Yeah. Or Reggie.
No,
Maybe.
Reggie's got interest from Sevilla and Juventus. I think he don't need to go to Roma.
Be nice if Ndombele ended up there, wouldn't it?
Ndombele at Roma would be my preference.
He could go out jogging with Jose then, couldn't he? Like he did in the lockdown. Go and do a few little jogs together.
Mental. Absolutely mental. But then after that, obviously the boys will be returning home on Saturday. Longley will link up with the squad, so we'll probably see Longley and the Rangers friendly, I'd imagine. We're looking good. We're looking good in the lead up to the season. So we'll obviously be talking about those games as and when they come. I'm just going to talk about our latest sponsor before we close up. Kitbag.com, 25% off if you use code BAG25. Some exclusions apply. Kitbag stock all the official Tottenham merch you could want, including this season's new training wear. So check out the link in the chat. If Caller or John could put the link in the chat, that would be great. And yeah, have a look, browse. Great site, easy to navigate. So yeah, But on that note, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. So all that's left for me to say is thank you, Gibbo, for joining.
No problem. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great talking about football.
And not so much transfers. It was good.
Not so much transfers. We had to drag the Jed Spence chat out for a little bit, didn't we? But no, brilliant to talk about a match. I'm buzzing for, like Craig said earlier, these friendlies in the first game of the season. Excellent. So, yeah, thanks for having me on tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed being back in the Wednesday club, and nice to meet Craig for the first time.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I'll be back on again soon. So, yeah, thanks for having me on.
The Wednesday club is where it's at, for sure. James, thank you as ever for joining me, and I hope you're not too hungover in the morning.
I won't be hungover. I won't be. I'm never hungover, actually. It's a super.
You're still young, aren't you? I forget this.
Well, it's because I drink Scotch with water, so my body's never actually that dehydrated. Just wake up, bang a double espresso, then another double espresso. Feel good. Shower, I'm good for the day. Yeah, exactly. I've got an espresso maker in my room now. eBay, 20 quid, sorted. I feel good. I feel fine. Wake up 6 in the morning because my body refuses to sleep more than like 3 hours in a row for some reason. I feel good. Anyway, thanks for having me on. I feel pretty good. Apologies for being a little bit less interesting than usual. I've had a bit less to say for once, which is weird. Lovely seeing you, Craig, for the first time, and Matt as ever, and you, Shan, and everyone in chat. Thank you very much. Lovely for your input and comments. So it's been lovely.
Couldn't get your stats out, could you, James? Tonight, there's not a lot to get your stats into.
Sadly, well, that's all I've got is my stats and my opinions, and neither were relevant today, unfortunately.
And Craig, for your debut, congratulations on that, and thank you for joining me. Hope to have you back at some point in the future.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Great conversation. It was great just to talk about football for a change and actual games. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I hope to be back soon.
Absolutely. And everyone in the comments, thank you for getting involved. Caller has put the kit bag link in there, so be sure to check that out. And until Friday, when Caller will be back with the team, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.